We're back tonight with more local news. The Liquor Licensing Board is imposing additional terms and conditions for liquor license renewals and applications for so-called upstairs bars starting in December. But the Bar and Club Association is worried that some 20% of the city's upstairs bars may have to go out of business because of the new requirements. Andrew Lau has the story.
The new terms and conditions include reducing the maximum number of people allowed at such establishments by 10% and limiting the number of upstairs bars within a building to no more than half of the total number of floors in the building. This time it's 10%. Next time they may reduce the number of people by 20%, says Chris Yu, a representative from a chain of bars. There's a 6-month grace period for the Liquor Licensing Board's new requirements, but the Bar and Club Association thinks that's not enough and might make a significant number of bars to go out of business. Vice Chairman of the association, Chin Chun Wing, says currently there are 450 upstairs bars in Hong Kong. He is worried that as a result of the new terms and conditions, about 20% of the bars will have no choice but to close down. He's even more worried that bar owners may begin operating illegally without a license. The association has called on the government to review its policies as soon as possible and is seeking a dialogue with the authorities. Andrew Lau, TVB News.
The proposed harbourfront authority is to develop Hong Kong's harbourfront into a vibrant area for public use. A member of the advisory body, Harbourfront Commission, says there should not be too much commercialisation in the development of the harbourfront. Diane To reports.
Victoria Harbour is one of the most iconic waterfront sites in the world, and the government agrees the beautiful promenade should be made much better use of. It wants to set up a statutory body with executive powers that will oversee the proper development of the promenade. Vincent Ng, a member of the existing advisory body, Harbourfront Commission, says there's a lot of work to be done, but one of the main goals is to connect the whole 73 kilometres of the harbourfront.
So people can, for example, either walk or jog from Kennedy Town to Shao Kei Wan, right? And similarly over the other side of the harbour. The challenges is that, well, the harbour has been developed over times, and not every piece of land are actually available or under government control. Some of them are part of the private ownership. So fitting it out all together is like playing jigsaw puzzle. So sometimes you find a missing link.
Speaking to TVB News today, Ng said the plan is to make the promenade more vibrant, perhaps with outdoor performances, concerts and cafes, and the proposed harbourfront authority will aim to cut through government bureaucracy to achieve its goals. One major concern people have is whether or not the promenade will ultimately be used to reap economic benefits of tourism. But Ng said the authority set up will be firm on its social objectives.
The harbour is for the people enjoyment, so it's not for making money. Commercialization is not crime. Sometimes people like some sort of commercial. You know, buying an ice cream is commercial, right? But you are not developing that into a big shopping mall that sells cosmetic, that sells milk formula or gold shop. It's not something that we are after.
The public consultation on how the Harbourfront Authority should be set up will last until January 4th. Diane To, TVB News.
Complaints have been growing in recent weeks about houseflies in the Tuen Mun area. Residents in surrounding estates and villages have blamed the nearby landfill for the problem. Stephanie Choi reports.
Imagine being pestered by flies. Dozens of them. This villager from Hapak Nai says it takes less than half an hour for the insects to fill a sheet of fly paper. Harassed villagers suspect that the houseflies come from the neighboring landfill, and they are not alone.
Today's inspection is obviously to give a clear signal to the Environmental Department, Protection Department, that we are indeed very and gravely concerned about the situation.
One of the reasons for his concern is that an infestation of flies that happened in Tuen Mun almost 2 decades ago was the result of a poorly managed landfill. A spokesperson from the Environmental Protection Department, or EPD, insists that the landfill is not the source of these pests. The EPD says they already have measures in place to keep insects from breeding, such as the green mats you see behind me. They also say their contractor will step up pest control measures. But will they be effective? Ho believes more needs to be done.
Their action is merely responsive to the complaints. Okay? That is not good enough.
His colleague Helena Wong thinks that various government departments, such as the Food and Environmental Hygiene Department, need to get their hands dirty for the interest of public health. She says the EPD hasn't been completely honest about the situation at the landfill, because from what she heard, workers there were worried about flies entering their mouths. Lawmakers and the villagers are urging the government to speed up their investigations, while current measures, they say, haven't done much at all. Stephanie Choi, TVB News.
All right, Tony, I'm excited about today's baseball
That's
action.
right, it's all heating up in the playoffs, and we'll talk all about it. Some great pitching performances in the American and National League Championship Series. In Boston, the Detroit Tigers flirted with a no-hitter against the Red Sox. Jameson Wong has all the highlights.
Detroit scored the only run they needed at Fenway Park in the 6th inning as Johnny Peralta singled home Miguel Cabrera, 1-0 Tigers.
Another 1-2. A strikeout.
Pitcher Anibal Sanchez didn't allow a hit in 6 innings. He was pulled after throwing 116 pitches. Detroit relievers kept the no-hit bid going into the 9th inning. Daniel Nava with a single off Joaquin Benoit for Boston's one and only hit of the game. The Tigers with a 1-0 lead in the best-of-7 series.
In this postseason. But he goes down.
Another pitcher's duel in the National League Championship Series. Michael Wacha and the St. Louis Cardinals got the better of Clayton Kershaw and the LA Dodgers. Wacha didn't allow a run in 6+ innings for the win. Kershaw gave up an unearned run in the 5th, the final 1-0. The Cards lead the series 2-0. Jameson Wong, TVB News.
In basketball, Jeremy Lin and the Houston Rockets defeated the Indiana Pacers in an NBA preseason game played in Taiwan. A capacity crowd of nearly 14,000 fans packed the Taipei arena. Lin, whose parents emigrated from Taiwan to the United States in the 70s, scored 17 points. He also had 4 assists and blocked a shot. The final score was 107-98. James Harden led Houston with 21 points, while Dwight Howard added 10 points and 6 rebounds. Red Bull's Sebastian Vettel won today's Japanese Grand Prix. Prior to the start, drivers held a moment of silence in memory of former reserve driver Maria Di Viotta. She died Friday from lingering injuries sustained in a crash a year ago during testing. As for today's race, Vettel finished 7 seconds ahead of teammate Mark Webber, who was on pole. Romain Grosjean of Lotus was third. It was Vettel's 5th straight win, and he now leads the Drivers' Championship by 90 points over Ferrari's Fernando Alonso, with 4 races left in the season. And some great shots from the first PGA Tour event of the new season. Now, if you thought last season wrapped up only a few weeks ago, it did. But the Tour has adopted a wrap-around format whereby there's only a short break between seasons. Japan's Ryo Ishikawa and Jason Kokrak both hold out approach shots on Saturday. Brooks Koepka leads the tournament in California after the 3rd round.
And finally, technicians have carried out the first official test of a movable flood barrier in the Italian city of Venice. Also known as the experimental electromechanical module, it was chosen to protect Venice from so-called high tide events. That happens when flooding from seawater becomes too much for the city to handle. Since the beginning of the 20th century, the number of high tide events in the Venetian area has increased due to ground lowering and rising sea levels. High tides cause flooding in the city, damaging buildings and disrupting commercial activities. The risk of a major high tide event in Venice is quite real, since it happened before in November 1966. And that's a wrap of our news. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Good night.
Good evening. It was mainly cloudy today with sunny periods in the afternoon. At 5 p.m., a ridge of high pressure over southeastern China brought a fresh to strong northeast monsoon to the coast of Guangdong. And today's temperatures ranged from 25.6 to 30.4 degrees, and the relative humidity was between 57 to 75%. And the current temperature is now standing at 26.7 degrees Celsius, and the relative humidity is 75%. The fire danger warning is yellow, and the fire risk is high. So, Freddie, how's the weather tomorrow?
Oh.
Mainly cloudy with 1 or 2 rain patches tomorrow. Temperatures will range from 25 to 28 degrees. It will be windy and cooler later this week. Tomorrow's API is forecast at 50 to 90, and the air pollution level will range from medium to high. The maximum UV index forecast for tomorrow will be about 5. And now to the latest global weather update. Cloudy in Shanghai and Xiamen, showers in Taipei. Cloudy in Guangzhou, showers in Macau and Chengdu. Showers in Beijing, sunny in Seoul and Tokyo. Thunderstorms in Bangkok and Manila, rain in Ho Chi Minh City. Thunderstorms in Kuala Lumpur and Singapore, showers in Jakarta. Bright in New Delhi, sunny in Karachi, showers in Mumbai. Sunny in Cairo, bright in Nairobi. Sunny in Brisbane, showers in Sydney, Melbourne, and Auckland. Sunny in Toronto and New York. Sunny in Vancouver and San Francisco, showers in Los Angeles. And there's rain in London and Amsterdam, showers in Paris, and Zurich, cloudy in Frankfurt. And that's weather. Have a lovely evening.